Second down and 11 for Arkansas, 1:47 remaining. One timeout left. Call it 12 to go for the first down. Sterner lost the football! Oh my goodness! He stumbled and fumbled, and Billy Ratliff recovered!
What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitter? Hey, it's your boy Billy Ratliff here, back here with the Volunteer Roadshow. And once again, I keep telling you guys, I got my man, Josh, the expert Griffin, is in the house with me today, guys. What's going on, Josh?
Oh, man. Not a lot. Trying to recover from that running backs video.
Hey, well, I noticed when you said you cut your finger, man, I didn't know you was going to get down and dirty with talking about the running backs. I mean, because I know the offensive line need to block for you. So, hey, we're going to be talking about the O-line today, man. What do you think about my O-line, man?
Better than last year, hopefully. But I don't think that we're at that point yet where we can just feel really confident in what the offensive line is going to do. I think it's going to be a best case, worst case scenario kind of situation for us. There's still not a lot of depth there, but there are key pieces that could make this offensive line effective enough to get us a good 8 or 9 win season.
Well, I mean, I'm right there with you, man, because, once again, we don't have any veterans that we can compete and say that, we got 4 of the 5 or 3 of all this. I don't really think we have that, because I think everybody has been reinvented, because last year we was very small, and this year, had a great off season. And from what I've heard, these guys have finally beefed up, got some more muscle, a little bit of weight on them, and I think they're ready to push some guys around. A lot of people are hoping, and me, I am hoping that these freshmen are going to be stepping up and they're as good as that we think they are. What do you know? What do you think about the 2 freshmen, the tackles?
Well, we saw Wanya Morris and Darnell Wright. Wanya Morris in the spring game, he struggled a little bit. That's to be expected for a true freshman coming into SEC caliber talent in a spring game, that quick out of his high school career to be going up against some of the defensive linemen that we have on Tennessee's roster now. It's to be expected. I think that Will Friend and Jim Chaney will have him whipped into shape before the season starts. And best case scenario, he mans up the left tackle position for us. Then you've got Darnell Wright on the right-hand side at tackle. In interior, Brandon Kennedy at the center position. And if we're talking about ideal scenarios, Trey Smith comes back healthy enough to play left guard for us, and Jameer Johnson at the right guard position. That's our best case scenario, and our best case scenario hinges on the fact that Trey Smith is healthy. That's why I think there's some like I said, there's some key players in there that could get us some wins, but it all hinges on a lot of ifs, and it doesn't make me very comfortable going into the season.
Well, I mean, I understand that too, man. But to me, I still think if Trey Smith is able to play and come back and play at a high level that I know he can, and also putting him at the guard position. I like that, but I still think if it was me, I want to put him back out here at tackle, at least the right tackle, and put one of those tackles here at guard, because I'm sorry, when it comes to the SEC and you're going against these defensive ends, they are hungry. They're trying to get to the quarterback, and everybody going to want our quarterback this year, especially with him getting the hype and everything. Everybody's going to be coming. So if Trey Smith is able to play at a high level, I'm hoping that they put him out here at tackle, because tackle is the hardest position to play in the SEC, I think. Now, with me, I don't like freshmen out here on the island like that, but every now and then you get some freshmen that are very good. Like when I came in, we had a guy by the name of Chad Clifton. We had Jarvis Rito was the starter at the point. He played left tackle, great 5-star guard coming out of high school. Well, when Chad came in, Chad had a little bit something different that Jarvis didn't. Well, Jarvis was able to learn more than one position. So they moved Jarvis to right tackle and put Chad over here. And Chad had a great year protecting Peyton Manning. You know, he didn't give up any sacks at all. So I'm hoping that we have that same caliber and hoping that Coach Friend does these same things to mentor these kids to be able to step up and take that challenge.
Yeah, so the two guys that they brought in, Wanya and Darnell Wright, both 5-star kids, both very highly recruited. That's the reason why so much effort was put into recruiting those two guys, is because Tennessee desperately needed the two guys that could come in and play year one. Like I said, Wanya struggled a little bit in the spring game, but you know, from what you could see, I mean, you could see that the raw talent is there. So maybe through fall camp, you know, he tightens his game up a little bit and he ends up at the left tackle. I think it's, you know, with Trey Smith's health concerns, it's a bit much to ask him to anchor that offensive line at the left tackle spot. But worst case scenario, Wanya struggles some more in the first few games and gets moved over to maybe right guard or maybe gets moved down to left guard, and then Trey moves out to the left tackle.
And I can see that happening. That's why I keep saying, I mean, if Trey is healthy, you know, I feel more safe that he can protect the quarterback a little bit better than the freshman can. I'm not saying that the freshman can't do it, but when you have leadership like a guy like Trey Smith, you know, all American guard, you know, this guy is a strong kid, and with the off-season program that they got going on with the strength and the conditioning, you know, from what I hear, these guys are much faster, they're much stronger, and I think they're ready to put that to play, because everybody knows, which when Coach told everybody this year in the at the press conference at the SEC Media Day, we only had one guy that was over 300 pounds. And now we got, you know, pretty much the whole the whole offensive line are over 300 now. And
right.
You got to have meat and potatoes. I call it meat and potatoes because you got to have these big guys that can push guys around. I don't want an offensive lineman that got six packs. I need a big, nasty guy that's ready to get down and dirty and make you look bad. Because defensive linemen hate offensive linemen laying on top of them with that big fat belly in their face like that. They don't like to see that stuff. And that's what I'm hoping our offensive line are ready to take that challenge and push guys around again, because we have the players now to do it. I'm not saying we're going to go out here and just dominate and everything, but I really think we're going to go out here and compete a little finally, not look bad and make us look like we are the worst team in the SEC.
Yeah, it's good to see that Pruitt is subscribing to that school of thought that the big man is better. Butch Jones's offense, he needed faster linemen. He needed guys who could pull, guys who could run traps without a ton of effort and without getting winded. I think that was exposed really early on, and by the time he got to that last season, things just weren't good. But now Pruitt's in, he's putting meat on these guys' bodies. 300-plus pound offensive lineman. You know, even you were a defensive lineman. If you're a defensive lineman and you're having to push the same, 270, 280 pound offensive lineman around, you're not going to get worn out as quickly as if you're pushing around 320, 330 pounds. So having those big bodies, being able to move people around, wearing down defensive lines, I think is going to be really beneficial to Tennessee's running game and giving Guarantano a little more time in the pocket to make some decisions.
I mean, that's true. I mean, if I had a scouting report, me as a defensive lineman, and I see across from me that these guys are averaging 285, 90 pounds, I'm getting ready to have a great day, because most of these guys on defensive linemen are able to bench anywhere from 450 to 550 pounds now. That is a lot of weight. And if you're pushing you only got a 275-pound guy over here. It makes it so much easier for a defensive lineman that's bench pressing 500 pounds. You know, I'm used to having to go against 670 pounds every play as a defensive tackle because you're going to go against two big offensive linemen every single play. And if they're running the ball like that, you get tired very fast. You get tired of getting pushed around like that. It's very rare that you have an offensive line that has one guard that can just manhandle you without having that extra help to rub and get to the linebacker. So I'm glad they finally got a strength coach to stay 2 years, back-to-back years, to be able to show these kids what he's trying to teach their bodies to become. Because if you continue to have a different strength coach every year or every 2 years, your team is not going to ever prosper. They're not going to get any bigger. They're not getting any faster. They're not going to look any different. You know, there was a picture that surfaced on the internet that showed Butch Jones players in the weight room. And then they had a picture of when my ex-teammate was in the weight room. And it was a big difference. I mean, you can go to any school that had the same strength coach for 10, 12 years, and you see how big those guys are. Right now, if you go out to USC, and there's a guy by, I call him Double A, Aaron, he is the strength conditioning coach out there. I saw a picture of them online just yesterday, and these guys are huge. I could have sworn each and every last one of these guys was like that. Those Samoan guys where they were just so huge and their legs are like tree trunks. I think the running backs look like offensive linemen out there, and that's something that we've been missing for a few years. And I think that by having that strength coach this year helped the offensive line out a whole lot by getting bigger.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Of course, we've yet to see those results on the field. We know what Jeremy Pruitt has said in the offseason. You know, he's added this weight. I guess the key to that is, did he slow him down any? Did adding that weight affect how they carry themselves around the field? I tend to lean towards this is going to be a positive more so than a negative. But as far as depth goes, you know, he's talking about putting weight on 15 different offensive linemen. The depth is not quite there. It's not quite where we need to be competing for SEC titles. You're going to see a lot of the same faces that we saw last season. Some new faces in Jackson Lampley and Ollie Lane. You've got, Chris Akparigane. I hope I pronounced that right, Chris. There's talent on the offensive line. It just hasn't been developed. Marcus Tatum, K'Ron Calvert, and those guys. I think probably one of the biggest factors to how this offensive line performs is how those guys can stand behind the starters and give them a breather every now and then without causing a 3 and out, without causing us a lost offensive series. So if they can step in and do their job, it could be a really good season for Tennessee.
Well, I'll tell you this here. The one good thing about playing offense or offensive line is they typically don't have to rotate unless there is a equipment malfunction. Most of these guys, I mean, they don't have to play as fast as defenses have to play because the offense, they know the play already. And that's what helped them, that why they're able to stay on the field much longer. The only position you normally see rotating on offense is running backs, receivers, or is there a formation thing where they bring an extra lineman in. Now, defense is different. That's why I say offense is much easier than defense, even though they don't give us the credit for that. But it is what it is. But I really think the offense is going to be better, you know, just because of the size and strength that the guys have. And, you know, they'll feel a little bit more comfortable running the ball this year and open the playbook a little bit more, give Guarantano a little bit more time to throw the ball and hope that they do buy into that, knowing that they have a good quarterback. Because if you don't have a quarterback that these guys can trust, it's going to be hard in a long season for everybody. Because if you don't protect your quarterback, it's not going to work at all, because this is the man that touches the ball every single play. So I'm hoping that, that the coach, Will Friend, has let these guys know that, if you guys don't protect the quarterback, we can't compete anywhere. This won't even work in high school. If you don't block or hold your guy for 2-3 seconds, we can't make it work. He got to get it back to ABC ball, the simple things, learning how to gap block or downhill, stretch. There's so many different things of angles and stuff that you have to teach these guys. Like I always tell people, it's simple. And people say, how is it simple? Well, if you teach someone how to go left and they go right, it's wrong. So if they go left, that's fine. But if they don't, and they're doing something totally different that you taught them in practice and they're trying to do their own thing, that's what makes it different and difficult to coach as a offensive line coach. And I'm thinking that Will has coached a lot of kids. He's been at a lot of schools that he's been very successful. And Pruitt, I don't think he would have went out and got this guy if he wasn't. And of course, I give him a little bit more credit just because he's from the state of Mississippi. I played with him in the high school all-star game back in the day. So I think he's going to get the job done. The offensive line is going to be much better, and I still think we're going to win more games than everybody expects us with the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could say this. If there's one thing that adding the size and the strength to the offensive line is going to do for Tennessee, is it's going to get them over those humps of, beating Vandy, giving Missouri a contest, beating Kentucky, which we were able to do last year, but by all accounts shouldn't have won that game. I think that was a psychological advantage that Tennessee had over the Kentucky Wildcats, and they were able to pull out a top 10 win. Mm-hmm. But physically speaking, it should be able to get us over the South Carolinas of the conference and stuff like that. So we'll be back to kind of owning that back end of the schedule, but I don't think that we're in a spot to compete with the front end of the schedule in terms of the SEC schedule.
Well, that's right. Hey, and there's another position I want to add with the offensive linemen, because we've been using these guys just like offensive linemen. They keep forgetting that they're actually a skilled player because they do two things. That's the tight ends. The tight ends, we have used the tight ends like a blocking H-back or whatever you want to call them for so long. It's been a long time since we can say that we had a tight end that was successful or whatever. And the last one that we can say is Jason Witten. And I keep telling everybody that was an accident. Jason actually caught a lot of great catches at the right time, and it was just his time with the stats he had that year. He had to leave and go and test the water, and he ended up becoming a Hall of Fame tight end. We have had a lot of tight ends in the past here in Tennessee that has been great, but we've never used them to their abilities to make it simple or take that edge off the quarterback. And I think that's a position this year that we're going to utilize to be successful on the offense this year, and actually helping the offensive line too with some quick dumps off to the tight ends. The only ones I think of, who do we have over tight end? I remember Dominique Anderson. I know he was one of those guys, and I know we had another one. I can't think of his name right at the top of my head. I think it was it Austin? Austin Pope, yes.
Austin Pope.
So what do you think these guys would be like this year? You think they'll give any production to be able to help out on offense? You think we'll utilize the tight end?
Well, I think Dominic Wood Anderson had a really good season last year, coming in as one of the top JUCO players, that are the number one JUCO player last season, last recruiting cycle. He came in and he was able to contribute right out of the gate, and he played a big part in Tennessee's offense last year, and I think he will again this year. Hopefully, we get more production out of the receivers and the backs, and those little release routes that he had so much success with last season over the middle will free themselves up more often for those surprise attack type plays. We saw Austin Pope getting after it a little bit in the spring game. Of course, he was black shirted, no contact, but he was able to come out with a couple of those little tight end release plays and stuff. So I think it as Jeremy Pruitt's offensive philosophy kind of takes foot here, you're starting to see that power football philosophy. You're starting to see a little more use of the tight ends in the passing game. But in order to get that marquee tight end like Jason Witten and those guys, you've got to have that philosophy: block first and be a receiver second. And we've tried with like in the Butch Jones era, they tried to use the tight ends too much, I think, as receivers. And a lot of times that left quarterbacks exposed. Josh Dobbs, even when he was here, he had to scramble and get himself out of some sticky situations. So I think going back to blocking first mentality, receiver second, it just gives Guarantano another option that he can look at. And Jim Chaney's going to be really good at recognizing whenever that tight end route is open, and he'll just call it, straight to the tight end, I think. So between Wood Anderson and Pope, we might see a few more touchdowns than we saw last year. And if that's the case, that's all the better, because I think that they were pretty key to the offensive production.
Hey, there you go, guys. Hey, my boy, the expert Josh Griffin, once again says it out and let us know what's really going on here on the Volunteer Roadshow. Hey, check us out, guys. Hey, like us here. Hey, subscribe here on YouTube. Comment once again. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you don't want to hear. Which I don't care about that part, because we're going to give you all that we know about the whole situation, and we're going to have fun with this here. Hey, we're going to have some fun all year. Josh ain't going nowhere. Also, check out the locker room. We got some good things that is brewing here. Got some more of my teammates. We're going to be shooting stuff and having fun on the show as well. We're going to get out of here real quick, guys. See you soon, and we'll be talking about the defense coming soon.
I would just say also go spend a little time on the website there. We're building that thing up day by day. So new things are coming to the website, new articles. We've got a couple of really talented writers over there. We'll have articles that go along with these videos that Billy and I are talking about that go a little more in depth. So go check that out. That helps us out tremendously. We can see where the traffic's going on the website and what people are wanting to read, and we can provide better, more tailored content by checking those things out. So go spend a little time on the website too. And other than that, man, I'm really excited about where things are going with the Volunteer Roadshow, with the website. There's a lot of big things coming up that we can't talk about yet, but Billy knows what I'm talking about. And when I say big, I don't mean big, couple of guest interviews. I mean huge. So definitely go over there, contribute early. I think it's just going to benefit you as this whole operation grows. And that's really all I've got, man. Just okay. We'd really appreciate some folks spending some time over there.
Okay. All right, man. We're going to get out of here, guys. And up until next time, hey, go Vols.